Hey, Alondra, this is Jeffrey Jacob. I'm the Learning Systems Manager for Apex Academy. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is just addressing Mr. Silverstein's uh, item here that he sent to us about finding the competency and standard for the summative. It might be easier for me to do it via video than to explain it in an email. And so that's why I'm kind of giving you the email or the video version. And here down below, you have the question for question one, the video reflection. Can you explain what you mean? I don't understand the question. And so what I believe you're working on here is Mr. Silverstein's class bio 1A, and you're asking a question about this video reflection guideline in this link. And so the first question, state the competency and standard for the summative. And basically the way that you find that is once the summative, you've done all the lessons and the summative becomes activated for you, what you can do is click on that button. And then you'll notice within your rubric that basically explains the task that you're going to be doing. In every instance, we always list what the competency and standard is that you're working on. And that is going to remain the same across all the proficiency levels. So you'll always be working on the same competency and standard, or there can be multiple competencies with multiple standards, but those won't change, even though you may, be attempting a higher level proficiency. And so the way that you find that is obviously this column here where it says competency and standard. And just to give you a little trick, the way that the learning system presents that for a view is the competencies are always listed first. The competency will always have three characters, and it'll always have a title that'll be underlined when it's listed for the competency and standard. Whereas the standard will just have the way that the state of California lists that standard. And with for the next generation science standards, it's always going to start with either HS or LS, or I'm sorry, HS or MS, depending on if it's a high school standard or if it's a middle school standard. And then it will generally have like the different life science, physical science, different standards than that. So that's kind of the way that you can tell what the competency is and what the standard is. The competency, again, always will be first, listed first, and you can have multiple competencies and multiple standards. So knowing kind of the naming conventions that we use is a little bit helpful. But again, it's three characters, and then the competency will always have a title and it'll be underlined and bolded. Whereas the standard will just be listed in bold and it won't have any title. It'll just have the description for that particular standard. So hopefully that helps you. Again, the way you find that is from your course, going into your proficiency path, scrolling down, accessing your summative, and then looking in this competency and standard column, and this is your standard, and this is your competency. So basically it's one competency and one standard, and then you have your integrated rubric here and the task that you're performing. So hopefully that's helpful to you and that clarifies what you were asking. If it doesn't, please just reply to my email and I can try to explain it in more detail to you. Or if you need me to go through a one-on-one Zoom and we can go through it together and I can show you how to find it, I'd be happy to do that as well. So hopefully that's helpful to you and hope you have a good break. All right, bye-bye.